Hi there, this is Nick Devine, founder of The Print Coach and developer of the Elephant Hunting System, and welcome to this video in the series. What we're going to talk about today is how do you optimize the development and the growth and the performance of your most important investment in your company, which is not your technology, it's actually your people. Your people, and we all know this, your people are your most important asset. And there's a lot of tools you can use to optimize the performance of your people. Now, one of the ones that's most used in companies, particularly in mid-sized to larger companies, is what's called the annual review. Now, I don't know if you've ever had these things done to you. I hated having them done when I was staff in an organization, and when I was in leadership in an organization. I never really liked doing them to my team either, and it did feel like something I was doing to my people as opposed to something we collaborated on that actually benefited me in leadership and benefited them. So having faced this situation a lot over a lot of years and working with a lot of management teams and organizations these days, I searched around looking for a different way, and we tried a lot of different models. And I came up with one system. It's a 4-step system. It's really simple. You can explain the whole process on a single sheet of paper, which I actually quite like. And here's why it's important. One of the things I discovered when I talked to teams of people and we start talking about performance accountability, which is what I call this process, and I say to them, in your role, how do you know you're doing well? How do you know what good looks like? And a surprising number of people go, well, nobody's complained. Nobody's given me a hard time. Nobody's told me I'm doing a bad job. And I think that's not really a particularly good criteria for actually doing well. I think it works a lot better if you're crystal clear what good looks like, because then you can focus your resources on a single point. You go, that's where I need to be aiming for. That's what good looks like. And that's what performance accountability, which is what I call it, is all about. So let's go look at what that actually looks like in the real world. So let's jump into that right now. The concept of performance management when you're working with a high performance team is based upon everybody having clarity around what success actually looks like. The danger for a lot of people is they start off with really good intentions as to what they're going to do. And when I say people, I'm including you and I in this conversation because I've fallen into this trap on more than one occasion myself. And the drift effect starts to take place. And the drift effect means we get pulled off in multiple directions and we drift from our initial good intentions. And then when we drift off, poor habits tend to sneak in. So over time, what you notice with a lot of people is their activity often goes up, so they're working hard, they're trying to get more things done, but their productivity, so the critical output for the major projects during the course of the year, activity linked to those tends to go down. So the main thing, those things that are critically important for the success of the business, they're no longer the main thing. We're drifting from crisis to crisis. So we have a cash flow issue, we have a financing issue, we have a production issue, we have an issue with a client project, we have a team issue, we have a HR issue, we've got a recruiting issue, and we're drifting from all these crises. So we go home at the end of the week, we're feeling absolutely exhausted, yet when we ask the critical question, what measurable progress did I make on my most important goals this week? We often struggle for answers because we go, I've been really busy, I'm mentally exhausted, I'm emotionally drained, and I'm feeling really frustrated because I've not made any progress at all on 2 or 3 projects that are critically important for the business, because we end up getting diverted from the things that are really important, which are main goals. So what I'm going to show you is a very simple model. You'll know if you've been following me for a while, I like models and frameworks that are on A4 sheets of paper because it means people can really grasp them and they can grasp them quickly and easily. So this one is based on 4 simple steps, what I call performance accountability. And it's based upon a rhythm that evolves over the course of the year. So there's a 1-year component, a 90-day component that in 90 days we update the cycle. Then there's a weekly component and a daily component. Let me walk you through what happens with this model. And it's very, very simple. You need no technology. You don't need any forms. You can do this with 4 boxes, a matrix on an A4 sheet of paper. It is literally that simple. So you sit down with your person or your team, depending on who you're doing this with, at the beginning of the year, and you say, here's what we're going to focus on for this year, for the next 12 months. These are the priorities. And you pick 3 to 5, no less than 3, but no more than 5 measurable outcomes. And you think about that SMART outcome. So it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Most people are familiar with that acronym. And it's linked to the business plan. So if you're the owner or you're the MD or you're the sales director and you say, if my team deliver on those 3 to 5 measurable outcomes, then we'll achieve our objective for the year, which is critically important. Then what we're going to do, and we're going to do this at the same time, so we're going to do this next step at the beginning of the year as well, and then we're going to do it at the beginning of each 90-day period. So this next section where it says 90-day plan, that's going to be done 4 times a year. And it's very simple. It's very easy to follow this. We're going to look at the objectives for the year, and we're going to say, if I've got to achieve those objectives for the year, what do I need to do in the next 90 days to make sure I'm going to stay on track? And in simple terms, we're going to set milestones or sub-goals or steps in the project, whatever way you want to think about it. And we're going to say for the next 90 days, here's the 3 to 5 things I need to get done. And if I get those 3 to 5 things done, then I'll achieve my objectives for the year. So just to give you a simple example of this, let's say I've got a new business target of $1 million for the 12-month period. We might say for the 90-day period, my objective would be is to have met with 10 new prospects over the course of the year that are qualified and are in the pipeline. So they've got active projects going on. And I've got 5 of them evolved to a level where they're likely to give business to us and make a commitment to us in the next 90 days, so in quarter 2. And then I'm going to update that cycle every 90 days, so done 4 times during the course of the year. Then every week I'm going to have a team get-together. And in that team get-together, we're going to do something really simple. I'm going to ask for 3 to 5 numbers, a maximum of 5. I more orientate towards about 3 numbers these days because people tend to hold that easier in their heads. And let's, just to give you an example of this, let's say one of the numbers we're focused on is new business activity. So a number I'd focus on is how many face-to-face meetings have you had with new prospects or potential prospects last week, and what's in the diary for next week. So 3 to 5 numbers that are linked to the 90-day goals. If it was a group of estimators, I might say, what's the current conversion rate from estimates to client business or committed revenue? If we're focusing on referrals, I might say, how many referrals have we collected so far for this 90-day period, and how many did we get last week? So that staff meeting should take no more than an hour, and then you talk about the numbers and then any issues related to the numbers. And then this is a really good idea. So my best clients, the clients that get the best results from the things we do with them, have a weekly what we call a team huddle. Maximum of 2 minutes per person in the team huddle. So if you've got, say, a team of 5, the whole thing's going to take 10 minutes. And all we're saying is, what's the progress on those critical weekly numbers today? So what happened yesterday? What's in the diary today? And is there anything else we need to know? So it's a very simple model. Critical outcomes and goals for the year. Critical outcomes and goals every 90-day period linked to the annual goals. Weekly get-together. Critical progress on the key numbers that drive the outcomes for the year and for the 90-day period. And then daily huddle, keep the pulse. So we create what's called a communication rhythm. So there's a rhythm in terms of how we get together and communicate. And we focus on numbers primarily, not on stories around those numbers. So here's what I'd invite you to do. Is literally get a blank sheet of paper for each person in your team, sit down with your team and brainstorm the outcome for the year, depending on what you're watching this, but you could just think whatever period we're currently in, so in terms of a year, financial year or calendar year. Then think about the 90-day goals linked to those annual goals. Then think about the numbers you need to focus on a weekly basis to drive progress on those. And then set as a minimum, if you do the daily huddle, that's fantastic. But as a minimum, schedule your weekly get-togethers and focus on those key numbers. And it's a really simple process, and you will get incredible results if you've got some discipline around this. Our clients get fantastic results with it. Obviously, IPEX is coming up pretty soon. And one of the interesting things that's happening at IPEX in 2014 is cross media is being co-located at the show. Now, I don't know if you know cross media. It's been running for a couple of years now, if I remember correctly. I've attended it previously. It's a pretty cool show. And what they're looking at cross media is how do you build, manage, and deliver communication programs across multiple platforms. So it's only on for 3 of the days while IPEX is going on. So you'll see IPEX is 24 to 29 of March. Cross media is the 25 to 27th of March. So if that's an area that's interest to you, you might want to look at your diary and think about when do you plan your IPEX visit so you get hold of 2 for the price of 1, as it were. So 2 shows for the price of 1. So that's pretty cool. I will be attending some of the content there myself just to check out what's going on. We did a handout for this video so you could get the core concepts on a single A4 PDF so you can get a download. So depending on where you're watching this video, if you're not watching it on our side, if you just go to the URL, theprintcoach.com/10, and that'll bring you to a page where you can just pop your details in there. In the video comment, 2 things I'm interested in there is what's your biggest takeaway from the content we just covered, and the second thing I'm interested in is any questions you've got about performance management for your team. So how do you maximize the output that they create for you? That would be fantastic. This is the last video in this series, so depending on the feedback we get, we'll create another series for you coming soon, and all going well, we'll see the majority of you at IPEX. Have an absolutely brilliant day and a great week, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.